loyalty since 1918. Service is our motto. The poor, the rich, the middle class and all are given the best of care and attention at all times. You have the privilege to select what you want. In your time of need, contact the capable, the competent, and the dependable staff of the Jwwilliams Funeral Home who is genuinely concerned with your care. At Jwwilliams Funeral Home, you are aptly served by the proprietor president, Deacon Arthur L. Parker, who continues the traditions and values set forth by the past president, Dr. Napoleon Williams. Your announcements for the Jwwilliams Funeral Home Sunday morning program are Deacon Arthur L. Parker, Reverend Isaac H. Owens, Mrs. Calandra Wilkerson Parker, Minister Frankie Harmon, Miss Sandra Johnson, and Deacon Earl Clark, Jr.
Thank you, and good morning, friends. We come to you this morning to bring announcements, dedications, and songs. We certainly hope that your day may be brighter after listening to our program. The family of United States Army veteran, retired City Commissioner, Mr. A.J. Rivers of Cordele, Georgia, the family of Deacon Roosevelt Trotman of Rochelle, Georgia, the family of Mr. Willie Davis Harris of Americus, Georgia, the family of Mr. Maceo Gordon Sr. of Americus, Georgia, the family of Miss Ruby Nell Atkins of Cordele, Georgia, the family of Mr. Milton D. Simpkins of Vienna, Georgia, would like to thank their many friends for the food, the flowers, the condolences, and all other expressions of sympathy and kindness shown to them during their hours of sorrow and bereavement during the past week. United States Army veteran, Mr. Alfred Joseph Rivers, a retired vice chairman of the City of Cordele Commission, age 99, of 504 West 15th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia, died Monday, May 26, at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for retired Vice Chairman Mr. A.J. Rivers, age 99, was held Tuesday, June 3rd, in the sanctuary of the Bethel CME Church in Cordele, Georgia. Reverend Veronica Smith, pastor, his pastor, the Reverend Isaac H. Owens, pastor of the Mount Calvary Baptist Church, officiated. The eulogy was delivered by the Reverend Dr. Jane E. Thomas. The burial with military honors followed at the Bethel Cemetery in Cordele, Georgia. Survivors include his loving and devoted wife, Mother Vera Mae Stripling Rivers of Cordele, Georgia, his loving and devoted children, Miss Gwendolyn Thrower of Cincinnati, Ohio, Mr. Gregory Rivers and his wife, Mrs. Joanne Rivers of Warner Robins, Georgia, Miss Glenda Rivers and Miss Fane Rivers Doles and her husband, Elder Shelton Doles of East Orange, New Jersey. 8 beloved grandchildren, 8 great-grandchildren, 2 great-great-grandchildren, a host of beloved nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. United States Army veteran, Mr. Alfred Joseph Rivers, age 99, a retired vice chairman of the City of Cordele Commission, 504 West 15th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia. Deacon Roosevelt Troutman, age 91, of 805 Peoples Road, Rochelle, Georgia, died Wednesday, May 28th, at his residence in Rochelle, Georgia. The funeral service for Deacon Roosevelt Troutman, age 91, was held Wednesday, Ms. Bernice Davis and her husband, Mr. Bobby Davis of Abbeville, Georgia. Ms. Diane Holmes and her husband, Mr. Gary Holmes of West Palm Beach, Florida. Mrs. Shirley Strain and her husband, Mr. Stand-Up Strain of Albany, Georgia. Mr. Leonard Troutman and his wife, Mrs. Carolyn Troutman, and Mr. Leon Troutman and his wife, Mrs. Linda Troutman of Raleigh, North Carolina, and Miss Sheila Bozeman and her husband, Sir Darrell Bozeman of Rhinco, Georgia. 25 beloved grandchildren, 31 great-grandchildren, 1 great-grandchild, 4 beloved sisters-in-law, 4 brothers-in-law, a host of beloved nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Deacon Roosevelt Troutman, age 91, of 805 Peoples Road, Rochelle, Georgia. Mr. Willie Davis Harris, age 68, of 453 Forest Street, Americus, Georgia, died Thursday, May 29th, at the Phoebe Sumter Medical Center in Americus, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Willie Davis Harris, age 68, was held Thursday, June 5th, at the Eastview Cemetery Pavilion in Americus, Georgia. The Reverend George F. Muntz, pastor of the Whole Truth International Ministries, officiated. Survivors include his loving and devoted children, Miss Antoinette Walton, Mr. John Walton and his wife, Mrs. Alexis Walton, Miss Jessica Harris, Mr. Marcus Payne, Mr. John Payne, Mr. Darrell White, and Mr. Jared White, all of Americus, Georgia. A special friend, Miss Cookie Bateman of Americus, Georgia. His beloved stepchildren, Mr. Gabriel Lassiter, Mr. Alvin Bateman Jr., Mr. Bryant Bateman, and Mr. Buford Bateman, all of Americus, Georgia. 11 beloved grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren, a host of beloved nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. Willie Davis Harris, age 68, of 463 Forest Street, Americus, Georgia. Mr. Maceo K. Gordon Sr., age 50, of 1420 Jones Lane, Americus, Georgia, died Monday, May 26, at Emory University Hospital in Atlanta, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Maceo K. Gordon Sr., age 50, was held Saturday, June 7th, in the sanctuary of the Friendship Baptist Church in Americus, Georgia. Bishop Melvin McCluster, pastor, his beloved cousin, the Reverend Ronrico Gordon, delivered the eulogy. The burial followed at the Eastview Cemetery in Americus, Georgia. Survivors include his loving and devoted wife, Mrs. Lutrina L. Gordon of Americus, Georgia, his loving and devoted children, Mr. Maceo K. Gordon Jr., Mr. Raheem Holmes, Mr. Jakartis T. Gordon, Mr. Hendrick M. Gordon, all of Americus, Georgia. 2 beloved grandchildren, his loving and devoted mother, Miss Joanne Gordon of Americus, Georgia, his beloved father, Mr. Dennis Carter Jr., and his wife, Mrs. May Boone Carter of Americus, Georgia, his beloved sister, Mrs. Shanika Washington of Americus, Georgia, his beloved brothers, Mr. James Washington and his wife, Miss Krista Washington of Powder Springs, Georgia, Mr. Carlos Washington and his wife, Mrs. Victoria Washington of Marietta, Georgia, Mr. Terrence Washington, Mr. Wilfred Washington III, Mr. Dennis Carter III, Mr. Terry Boone, all of Americus, Georgia, his beloved aunts and uncles, Mr. James Gordon and his wife, Mrs. Mary Gordon, Mr. Charles Gordon, Mr. Freddie Lee Evans, Mr. Dwight Harris, Mr. Arthur Lee Evans, Mr. Philip Carter, and Miss Louise Carter, all of Americus, Georgia. His beloved mother-in-law, Mrs. Emma Cook of Americus, Georgia. A sister-in-law, Miss Terica Russell, and her husband, Mr. Michael B. Russell. 2 brothers-in-law, Mr. Oscar Cook Jr., Mr. Michael B. Russell, a host of nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. Maceo K. Gordon Sr., age 50, of 1420 Jones Lane, Americus, Georgia. Miss Ruby Dale Atkins, age 73, of 2108 Garden Wood Court, Atlanta, Georgia, died Monday, June 2nd, at her residence in Atlanta, Georgia. The funeral service for Miss Ruby Dale Atkins, age 73, was held Saturday, June 7th, in the chapel of the Jwwilliams Funeral Home in Cordele, Georgia. Her pastor, the Reverend Gregory Williams, pastor of the Emmanuel Missionary Baptist Church, officiated. The burial followed at the Bethel Cemetery in Cordele, Georgia. Survivors include her loving and devoted daughter, Miss Sabrina Atkins of Atlanta, Georgia, her loving grandchildren, Jalen Atkins, Derica Sanders, Jared Atkins, and Julia Atkins, all of Atlanta, Georgia. Her beloved great-grandchildren, Skylar Hawkins and Samaria Atkins. Her beloved and devoted sisters, Mrs. Mary Royal and her husband, Mr. Buford Royal of Cordele, Georgia, Mrs. Johnny Butler and her husband, Deacon Earl Butler of Riverdale, Georgia, Miss Antoinette Hurley of Leesburg, Georgia, Miss Marquetta Green of Conley, Georgia, Miss Geraldine Putman and her husband, Mr. Charles Putman of Cordele, Georgia, Mrs. Catherine Massey of Atlanta, Georgia. Her beloved and devoted brothers, Mr. John Atkins and his wife, Mrs. Gwen Atkins of Riverdale, Georgia. Mr. Charles Atkins and his wife, Mrs. Judy Atkins of Atlanta, Georgia. And Mr. Ricky Atkins and his wife, Mrs. Shaquita Atkins of Killeen, Texas. A beloved uncle, Mr. Anthony Atkins and his wife, Mrs. Ann Wade of Albany, Georgia. A host of beloved nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many sorrowing friends survive. Miss Ruby Dale Atkins, age 73, of 2108 Gardenwood Court, Atlanta, Georgia. Again, the family of United States Army veteran, retired Commissioner Mr. Alfred Joseph Rivers, age 99, of Cordele, Georgia. The family of Deacon Roosevelt Troutman of Rochelle, Georgia. The family of Mr. Willie Davis Harris of Americus, Georgia. The family of Mr. Maceo K. Gordon, Sr. of Americus, Georgia. The family of Miss Ruby Nell Atkins of Atlanta, Georgia. And the family of Mr. Milton D. Simpkins of Vienna, Georgia, would like to thank their many friends for all of the many kindnesses shown to them during their hours of sorrow and bereavement during the past week. May God bless each of you, is their prayer. The Jwwilliams funeral directors serving Cordele and Vienna were in charge of each of these arrangements during the past week. And now, it is certainly with the deepest regret that we make the following announcement. Miss Vivian Felder, better known as Miss Honey, age 78, of 767 Teresa Street, Ashburn, Georgia, died Wednesday, June 4th, at her residence in Ashburn, Georgia. Survivors include her loving and devoted companion, Mr. Richard Lee Harris, Sr. of Ashburn, Georgia. Her loving and devoted children, Mr. DeLawrence A. Drummer of Ashburn, Georgia, Mr. Lee Anthony Drummer of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Mr. Lee Andrew Harris and his wife, Mrs. Wanda Harris of Leesburg, Georgia. 11 beloved grandchildren, 11 great-grandchildren, her loving sisters, Miss Daisy Bird, Miss Vivian Bateman, Miss Gloria Sims and her husband, Mr. Roderick Sims, all of Ashburn, Georgia. Miss Mary McCullough and Miss Sylvia Gibson, both of Miami, Florida. Her beloved brothers, Mr. James Richardson and his wife, Mrs. Laura Richardson of Watertown, New York. Mr. Buster Felton and his wife, Mrs. Janie Felton of Ashburn, Georgia. Mr. Clarence Wallace and his wife, Mrs. Denise Wallace of Jacksonville, Florida. A host of beloved nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many sorrowing friends, to include a special friend, Miss Nancy Burgess of Ashburn, Georgia, survived Miss Vivian Felder, affectionately known as Miss Honey, age 78, of 767 Teresa Street, Ashburn, Georgia. The memorial service for Miss Vivian Felder, age 78, will be held Wednesday, June 11th at 1 p.m. in the sanctuary of the New Providence Baptist Church in Ashburn, Georgia. The Reverend Keith Moore will officiate. Deacon Charlie Henry Westbrook, age 76, of 104 Jenny Lynn Lane, Cordele, Georgia, died Saturday, June 7th at the Chris Regional Nursing and Rehabilitation Center in Cordele, Georgia. Survivors include his loving and devoted wife, Mrs. Johnny Mae Walker Westbrook, his loving and devoted children, Mrs. Sheila Henderson and her husband, Mr. Robert Henderson of Cordele, Georgia, Mrs. Wanda Hamilton and her husband, Mr. David Hamilton of Albany, Georgia, the Reverend Artis Westbrook and his wife, Mrs. LaShawn Westbrook, and Miss Monica Westbrook, all of Cordele, Georgia. 9 beloved grandchildren, 7 great-grandchildren, 2 beloved sisters, Mrs. Sally Donald and Mrs. Barbara Hayes, both of Norwalk, Connecticut. A beloved brother, Mr. Malcolm Mitzi of Cordele, Georgia. A beloved aunt, Mrs. Ruby Roger of Cordele, Georgia. His beloved mother-in-law, Mother Willie Mae Walker of Warwick, Georgia. A host of beloved nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Deacon Charlie Henry Westbrook, age 76, of 104 Jenny Lynn Lane, Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Deacon Charlie Henry Westbrook, age 76, will be held Thursday, June 12, 2025 at 11 a.m. in the chapel of the Jwwilliams Funeral Home in Cordele, Georgia, with the minister selected officiating. The burial will follow at the Sunnyside Cemetery in Cordele, Georgia. Mrs. Glennis Bivens Dyer, affectionately known as Pig, age 62, of Columbia, South Carolina, formerly of Cordele, Georgia, died Saturday, May 31st, at the Lexington Medical Center in Columbia, South Carolina. Survivors include her loving and devoted husband of 38 years, Mr. Jeffrey B. Dyers of Columbia, South Carolina. A beloved daughter, Miss Phaisha Dyer of Columbia, South Carolina. Her loving siblings, a host of nieces and nephews, many cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mrs. Glennis Bivens Dyer, affectionately known as Pig, age 62, of Columbia, South Carolina, formerly of Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Mrs. Glennis Bivens Dyer, age 62, will be held Saturday, June 14th at 10 a.m. in the chapel of the Jwwilliams Funeral Home in Cordele, Georgia. The burial will follow at the Lester Family Cemetery in Elko, Georgia. The public visitation will be Friday, June 13th from 1 until 5 p.m. at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home. Mr. Wallace E. Farrell, age 63, of 902 North 11th Street, Cordele, Georgia, died Friday, May 16th at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. Survivors include his loving and devoted children, Miss Latoya O'Neill and her companion, Mr. James Johnson of Columbus, Georgia, Miss Doris Farrell, Mr. Norris Farrell, and Miss Zion Farrell, all of Cordele, Georgia, Mr. Wallace Williams of Miami, Florida, Miss Diane Forum and her husband, Mr. Teran Forum, of Warner Robins, Georgia, 15 beloved grandchildren, 1 great-grandchild, a beloved sister, Miss Brenda Farrell of Cordele, Georgia, a beloved brother, Mr. Eugene Farrell of Cordele, Georgia, a host of beloved nieces, nephews, cousins, to include Mr. Kelvin Bacon of Valdosta, Georgia, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. Wallace E. Farrell, age 63, of 902 North 11th Street, Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Wallace E. Farrell, age 63, will be held Saturday, June 14 at 3 p.m. in the chapel of the Jwwilliams Funeral Home in Cordele, Georgia. The Reverend Isaac H. Owens, pastor of the Mount Calvary Baptist Church, will officiate. The burial will follow at the Sunnyside Cemetery in Cordele, Georgia. The public visitation will be Friday, June 13, from 1 until 5 p.m. at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home. United States Marine Corps veteran, Mr. Ernest Lee Wiggins, age 67, of 91 Shady Lane, Oglethorpe, Georgia, died Friday, May 16, at his residence in Oglethorpe, Georgia. The funeral service for United States Marine Corps veteran, Mr. Ernest Lee Wiggins, age 67, will be announced at a later date pending the completion of the arrangements. Mr. Freddie Lee Lewis, age 80, of 6393 Northwest 17th Avenue, Miami, Florida, died Wednesday, May 21st in Miami, Florida. Survivors include his loving and devoted companion, Miss Felisa Jackson, his loving and devoted children, Miss Tanya Tucker and her husband, Mr. Norman Tucker, Miss Kadasia Burst, and Mr. Freddie Lewis, a host of grandchildren, great-grandchildren, his beloved sisters, Mrs. Carrie Holmes and her husband, the Reverend John Holmes, Miss Eloise Dean Harden, Mrs. Linda Dean Smart, and Mrs. Fannie Mae Dean Morgan, a host of devoted nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. Freddie Lee Lewis, age 80, of 6393 Northwest 17th Avenue, Miami, Florida, formerly of Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Freddie Lee Lewis, age 80, will be announced at a later date pending the completion of the arrangement. Mr. Calvin Javon Howard III, age 18, of Bear, Delaware, died Monday, May 26, in Bear, Delaware. Survivors include his loving and devoted mother, Miss Lanisha Jones, his beloved father, Mr. Calvin Howard Jr., his stepfather, Mr. Cheney Walton, his beloved sister, Mrs. Calvin Howard, Miss Kayla Howard, his beloved brother, Mr. Cheney M. Walton, his beloved grandmother, Miss Tammy Asbin, and a host of other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. Calvin Javon Howard III, age 18, of Bear, Delaware. The funeral service for Mr. Calvin Javon Howard III, age 18, will be announced at a later date pending the completion of the arrangements. Mr. Charles George Cooper, Jr., age 63, 104 Charleston Drive, Americus, Georgia, died Thursday, June 5th, at the Phoebe Sumter Medical Center in Americus, Georgia. Survivors include his loving and devoted wife, Miss Rosie Cooper of Americus, Georgia, a beloved son, Mr. Antonio Cook, Sr. of Americus, Georgia, his grandson, Mr. Antonio Cook, Jr. of Americus, Georgia, 3 beloved sisters, Mrs. Jackie Hall, Mrs. Sharon Holmes, and Miss Lisa Cooper, all of Americus, Georgia, a host of beloved nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. Charles George Cooper, Jr., age 63, 104 Charleston Drive, Americus, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Charles George Cooper, Jr., age 63, will be announced at a later date pending the completion of the arrangements. The Jwwilliams funeral directors serving Cordele and Vienna are in charge of each of these arrangements during this week. Friends, that conclude our funeral notices for this morning. And as always, we do remind you concerning our pre-funeral arrangements planning available at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home, with packages available with a single pay, a 3-year pay, a 5-year pay, and a 10-year pay. So please stop by and talk with us concerning your pre-funeral arrangements needs available at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home. And also whole life insurance is available at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home. And now for announcements. The Friendship Baptist Church of Vienna, Georgia anniversary will be today, Sunday, June 8th at 11 a.m. The Reverend Lewis Harrell of the New Hope Baptist Church, Perry, Georgia, will be the guest minister. Everyone is invited and dinner will be served. Sister Cassandra Askew, Secretary, Mother Nanny Burks, Church Mother, and the Reverend Joseph Atkins, Pastor. The Holly Grove Baptist Church will observe the 3rd anniversary of their pastor, the Reverend W.G. Grover, today, Sunday, June 8th at 11 a.m. At 1:30 p.m., the New Beginning Baptist Church and pastor, the Reverend Solomon Lau, will be in charge of the anniversary service. Everyone is invited and dinner will be served. Deacon Robert Woodson, Jr., Chairman of Deacons, the Reverend W.G. Grover, pastor. The Free Providence Baptist Church, Vienna, Georgia, annual Family and Friends Day will be today, Sunday, June 8th at 11 a.m. The Reverend Caleb Green will deliver the morning message. Everyone is invited to attend. Deacon Eric Lundy, Chairman of Deacons, the Reverend Charles Cobb, Sr., Pastor. The New Poplar Springs Baptist Church, Byronville, Georgia, annual Youth Day will be today at 9:45 a.m. Everyone is invited to attend. Pastor Teacher Johnny Dean, Pastor. The Ebenezer Baptist Church of Vienna, Georgia, annual revival begins Tuesday, June 10th through Thursday, June 12th at 7:30 p.m. each evening. The following churches will be their nightly guests: Tuesday, Forest Chapel Baptist Church and Pastor the Reverend Willie Green. Wednesday, the Holly Grove Baptist Church and Pastor the Reverend W.G. Grover. Thursday, Free Providence Baptist Church and Spring Hill Baptist Church of Tibbettville and Pastor Reverend Charles Cobb Sr. Homecoming will be observed Sunday, June 15th at 11 a.m. Dinner will be served. Everyone is invited. Deacon Morris McClendon, Chairman of Deacons, and the Reverend Samuel Stokes, Pastor. Vienna Church of Christ, 915 East Union Street, Vienna, Georgia. Juneteenth celebration begins Thursday, June 19th from 10 until 2 p.m. The event is free. There will be activities for youth and adults. For more information, please contact Sister Donna Thomas at 561-601-8802. Sister Donna Thomas, 561-601-8802. Refreshments will be served. The new Poplar Springs Baptist Church, Byronville, Georgia, invites everyone to worship with them each Sunday, 9:45 a.m. Wednesday via conference call at 6:30 a.m. for morning prayer. At 7 p.m. for Hour of Encouragement, please dial 253-993-3761. Please dial 253-993-3761. Pastor Johnny Dean, pastor, teacher. The Sumter County National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Sumter County Branch 5160 Annual Freedom Fawn Gala will be Saturday, July 21st at 5:30 p.m. at the Sumter County High School, 903 South Georgia Tech Parkway, Americus, Georgia. Mr. Eugene Edge, Jr., President. The Davis Chapel CME Church of Araby, Georgia annual Children's Day program will be today, Sunday, June 8th. All children are asked to participate. Stewart Terry Holton of Albany, Georgia, will be the guest speaker. Refreshments will be served. Everyone is invited. Sister Angeline Jones, Secretary, Stewart Ruby Lee Barrett, Chairman of Stewards, and the Reverend Welburn, Pastor. The Allen Temple AME Church, 614 16th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia. The Eastern District of the AME Church will have the Dr. Queen Herring Brown Scholarship Program to recognize outstanding scholars and highlight the importance of continuing Dr. Brown's mission to empower the next generation. Program will be today, Sunday, June 8th at 3 p.m. Everyone is invited to attend. The Reverend Robert Angrish, Pastor, Brother Memrish Brown, Steward. The Bethel Word Ministry, 2007 South 7th Street, Cordele, Georgia. Breakthrough Revival begins Tuesday, June 12th and Friday, June 13th at 7:30 p.m. Bishop Timothy O. Boone will be the guest evangelist. Everyone is invited. Apostle and Prophetess Smith, host pastor. The NAACP Juneteenth celebration will be Saturday, June 14th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. The parade will be at 11 a.m. followed by festival at Gillespie Selden Center. Food trucks, vendors, gospel singing, giveaway, bounce houses, and much more. The Reverend Isaac H. Owen, NAACP President. The Mount Zion First African Baptist Church Annual Mission Day program will be Sunday, June 22nd at 2:30 p.m. Sister Ella Perry of the Greater Mars Tabernacle Baptist Church will be the guest speaker. Everyone is invited. Sister Jean O. Burks, President, Deacon Joe Wedges, Chairman of Deacons, Dr. Dan James III, Pastor. The International Bible-Based Fellowship Organization and Association General Assembly 2025 will be held Monday, June 23rd through Friday, June 27th at 7:30 p.m. at Oak Ridge Baptist Church, 1708 West Oak Ridge Drive, Albany, Georgia. Dr. Antoine Yah, Senior Pastor. Guest speakers will be Monday, Bishop Norman Hutchins, Tuesday, Bishop L.W. Bolden, Wednesday, Evangelist Tiffany Agee, Thursday, Reverend Tim Rogers, Friday, Chief Apostle Willie S. Jenkins, presiding prelate and founder. On Saturday, June 28th at 6 p.m.,